Шановні колеги, добрий день.
Dear
Засідання бере
colleagues,
участь члени
hi.
Громадської ради міжнародних експертів.
PCI members are taking part in the session. Names follow.
Мері К. Батлер дистанційно, Габріела Йоткайте Гранкіс Кайне дистанційно, Джон Саліван, Джесіка Лот Томпсон дистанційно, члени Вищої кваліфікаційної комісії суддів України, Михайло
And
Богоніч,
also HQCJ members. Names follow.
Ігор Кушнір, Олексій Омелян, Роман Сабдаш, Руслан Сидорович, Сергій Чумак, Галина Шевчук. Головуючий я, Галина Шевчук.
I am the chair of this session, Halina Shevchuk. The secretary of this session, Natalia Vlasenko, is present. This meeting has a quorum. HQCJ members and PCI members are present, so we shall open this session. This session is being broadcast live. The issues on our today's agenda is compliance of the candidates to the position of the judge of the Hague Court. First candidate is Yevtushenko Oleksiy Ivanovych. Second candidate Skriklya Lesia Ivanivna. Then Makhno Natalia Volodymyryvna and Vernegor Oleksiy Vitalyevich. HQCJ PCI members, do you have any other proposals and comments? We can vote for these issues on the agenda. Who's voting for? Unanimously, thank you. Let us agree on the rules of procedure and timeline. HQCJ questions and answers of the candidate up to 40 minutes. Follow-up questions of the PCIE and HQCJ up to 5 minutes. Let us vote for this. The rules of procedure.
Because we have 4 candidates today, it would be helpful if we keep time on our side and also on your side.
Перекладу немає. Гаразд, є вже зв'язок. Дотримуватись. Так, чути, дякую. Дякую, будемо всі суворо дотримуватись.
So we will strictly observe the rules of procedure. We'll do our best. The candidates have appeared: Yevtushenko Oleksiy Ivanovych, Skriklya Lesia Ivanivna, Makhno Natalia Volodymyryvna, Vernegor Oleksiy Vitalyevich. Please invite the candidate to the position of judge at the Hague, Yevtushenko Oleksiy Ivanovych.
Доброго дня. Розглядається питання щодо відповідності кандидата на посаді судді Вищого.
The issue of compliance of the candidate to the position of the judge at the Hague, Yevtushenko Oleksiy Ivanovych, is being considered under Part 4 of the Article 8 of the Law of Ukraine on High Anti-Corruption Court. PCIE members are present today. Names follow.
Габріела Юткайте Грен Скіне дистанційно, Джон Саліван, Джесіка Лот Томпсон. Члени Вищої кваліфікаційної комісії
HQCJ members are also present. Names follow.
Надія Кобецький, Ігор Кушнір, Олексій Омелян, Роман Сабдаш, Руслан Сидорович, Сергій Чумак, Галина Шевчук. Вам зрозумілий склад комісії?
Is the composition of the commission clear to you?
Так, зрозуміло.
Yes, it is clear. Do I need to explain your rights to you, or do you know them?
Потрібно, я з ними ознайомлений.
Thank you. I'm aware of them. All right, thank you. Drawing your attention to the fact that in the special joint meeting, no new materials are being considered apart from those that the candidate has already provided within the required deadline. In case new materials and new circumstances can significantly influence the status of the candidate's profile in the competition, then with the consent of at least three members of the Commission, the decision may be taken to consider new materials. Do you have any motions or recusals to make? No motions and no recusals. All right. Please observe the rules of procedure of this special joint meeting under the law. Sabodash Roman is the rapporteur in this case. Hi. So a short report on Yevtushenko Oleksiy Ivanovych. Within the deadline determined by the Commission, Yevtushenko Oleksiy turned to the Commission to participate in the competition, and in September 18, 2025, the Commission took a decision to admit the candidate to qualification testing. The following day, the test was scheduled, and after passing the qualification test, the candidate was admitted to the interview. Oleksiy Yevtushenko is 45 years old. He earned his degree in law enforcement activities from the National Academy of the State Tax Service of Ukraine, and he defended his PhD titled Judicial Proceedings Concerning Criminal Offenses in Ukraine. In 2025, his professional career started in 2006. From 2006 to 2007, he worked as a senior consultant at the Supreme Court of Ukraine in Kyiv. From 2007 to 2011, he was the assistant judge at the Appellate Court of Kharkiv. And from 2011 to 2013, he was the head of apparatus at the Appellate Court of Kharkiv Oblast. From 2013 to until present, he is judge at the Saksahan District Court in Kyiv. He was appointed by the order of the President of Ukraine as of 2013. He took his oath, and by the decision of the Commission as of 2019, the Commission acknowledged him to be compliant with the criteria of the position. And from 2017 to 2018, he was the Speaker of the Saksahan District Court. He also was a delegate in the judges' gatherings in 2018 to 2019. He participated in the competition to the position of the judge of the Appellate Court. He terminated his participation in 2023 after failing the cognitive ability testing. In 2023, he participated in the competition for the Hague Appellate Chamber Judge, terminated participation after failing the cognitive ability testing. In 2024, he ran in a competition for a member position at the High Qualification Commission of Judges and terminated participation and was not admitted to the interview. And in 2024, he ran in a competition for a member position at the HCJ, terminated participation by personal request.
Доповідь завершена. Скажіть, будь ласка, чи вірно
The
тепер
report is over.
чи
Does it
можливо
reflect
маєте
correctly the facts related to your career and life? Thank you for this substantial report. I will complement it because I would like to provide some additional facts. Main points were highlighted by the rapporteur. I also have experience as an investigator. Then there is an issue of military service in 1998. I graduated from an institute, Department of Physical Education. Then I served in the border
Ми так більше відомості
border control units.
весь трудовий шлях. Дякую.
Yes, of course, we are interested more in your legal activities. That is why some points were missed
Голові громадської ради міжнародних
in
експертів
this report.
Гайно.
Over to Robert, the chair of the PCIe.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning. Your rapporteur on our side is Norman. Norman?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Yevtushenko. Nice to meet you. Yes, I'm a rapporteur from the side of Public Council of International Experts, and I'm attorney from Estonia, and I'm a former prosecutor as well for many years. And thank you for participating. That competitions were such important judicial positions here in the High Anti-Corruption Court, and also congratulations to reach already this joint interview phase. Yes, I'd like to start with your previous experience as a judge. You have heard already that you have served as a judge almost 10 years. And you are a judge of the General Court. Please describe what kind of cases you have adjudicated, and do you have any specializations, for example, such as civil law cases or more criminal law cases, or as a General Court judge you are handling both type of cases?
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for your question. I adjudicate criminal cases, civil cases, administrative misdemeanors. Also, in the court, there are specialties. I'm the investigating judge, juvenile judge, and that is it. Thank you. With your permission, I could add something. So the issue of complexity of cases. Well, this is not easy to switch from one type of case to another. In one day, I could have from 3 to 20 cases of different types and different levels of complexity. 37 cases is my record per day. Half of them I can hear in one day with all the participants, parties present. That is really tiring and quite exhausting. But if you're interested, I could comment on how I manage the process.
Thank you. It's obvious that your workload has been quite high, but I'd like to know more about your expertise in the corruption cases. Do you have adjudicated any corruption-related criminal cases in your court?
Дякую за запитання. Дійсно, ви
Thank
праві.
you for this question. Yes, you're right. Currently, I have adjudicated 9,000 to 10,000 cases. Among those cases, there were corruption-related cases, legal enrichment cases, and for both criminal administrative cases related to corruption, I have adjudicated them, and they were not appealed, and the decisions went into effect. These were cases related also to failure to submit declarations on time. Thank you.
Can you describe, according to your own assessment, which corruption case was most complex to handle and why for you in your practice?
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for this question.
Скажу відверто.
I will be frank. Corruption-related cases for me are not particularly difficult. I believe that despite those being heinous crimes, mostly, I don't see any barriers in adjudicating them. What is more difficult is cases involving people's lives and destinies. And I don't have any special category. I don't separate them as a special category of cases. But of course, I take into account a specific nature of these cases. And my responsibility is also at stake in such cases. And I pay as much attention to this kind of cases as I do to others. And if you want to listen more about it, I could add something because I'm being nervous.
Okay, thank you. It's not nothing about to worry. My question was quite simple. Can you just name maybe your most complex corruption case what you have adjudicated and why it was so complex?
Остання справа була отримання
The most recent case was about illegal enrichment related to conscription.
Це вона ще розглядається.
And it is still being considered. Then another case about illegal enrichment by the employees. But it was related to driving license.
Thank you. We heard that you have run during last years for several judicial positions and participated several competitions, and you have not succeeded so far. But which of those several positions would have been your personal preference? At the moment, this is the Hawk Charge positions, but you also run for the position for High Council of the Justice and also this Honorable Bill. What is your preference in theoretical world?
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for this question. I would like to emphasize that my participation in the competitions, I mostly ran for competitions in general jurisdiction courts. So I ran in competitions for the appellate court and the Hague Court judges. I would like to have criminal cases mostly. And I am dealing with them in the first place and dealing with them as a priority in my practice.
Thank you. You have already shared and answered several questions during the written question and answer rounds. And thank you for all the information provided to us so far. But this is the public interview, and for the sake of the transparency, I will ask once again some of the questions. So, and if you have something to add to your written answers, you can add, but of course you can remain to the same answers. And I like to start with quite old thing. One apartment in Kharkiv and the privatization of that apartment. In 2011, you were provided with a one-room apartment in Kharkiv, and 2 years later, you privatized it. And in your written answer, you indicated that you were accepted for this apartment registrations as an exceptions from the general basis. Can you explain what was the legal basis for these exceptions made to you? And maybe there are also some documents to confirm that.
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for this question. So I will start with the documents.
Перший, мною був зроблений запит.
First, I made a request as I prepared to the Kharkiv City Council regarding all the documents related to my acquisition of the apartment. And because I was not obliged to keep all of them, I was informed that the letter said that documents related to my apartment are destroyed because due to statutory limitations. It is really hard to prove in this case that you were honest and I were honest. And this question is appropriate. I will try to prove that I didn't know why an exception was made. And all those decisions that I have provided as documents were taken by a panel of experts. Those people reside in Kharkiv. Some of them work in the local self-governance bodies. And the final decision on my acquiring the apartment was taken by Kharkiv MPs. Number two, as I was holding a position in the appellate court, and when I submitted my application, I would like to bring more details to my written answer. As I worked as an assistant judge in the appellate court, and as I prepared to this interview, I reviewed that I was the head of apparatus. That position was a prestigious one. Part of its functions were performed by the chief of court. before. That position was under much public scrutiny. I was starting to be a public figure. I would provide public comments.
Мені не вдалося, оскільки зазвичай ці питання на місцевому рівні висвітлюються
And
пресою.
usually such issues gain much attention from the local media, the issues of apartments, property of judges.
Я би так не сказав.
And
Я не сказав, що мене знали
I
люди. Але
wouldn't
хочу
say
підкреслити, що
that.
прийняття цього
So I would say that
було
I was known
невідомо.
by
Я дізнався вже
local
після отримання відповіді в
people,
2026
and
році, готуючись на цю посаду, що це було виключно.
in 2026, as I was getting ready for the competition, I got a conclusion that that decision was made as an exception. Currently, I work in the appellate court in Kharkiv Oblast, and before I worked in the Supreme Court. So I needed to make effort in order to remember that situation and sort it out. After reading some legal norms, I realized that probably I needed to provide a labor book, labor certificate, or some other certificates proving that I do work in Kharkiv. However, I resided in a dormitory before, and I was born in a different region, not in Kharkiv region. So I think that the bulk of all these facts prove that and explain why it was made, the exception was made.
Yes, thank you. One clarification here. Yes, the decisions was made quite quickly. For example, October 2011, you were admitted to the apartment registrations, and already months later, in the November 2011, the decision was made to submit an apartment to you. It's less than 2 months. So, how did you receive the apartment so quickly? So, can you explain it a bit more? You already explained these exceptions reasons, but the other thing as well, that this decisions was made so quickly, less than 2 months. Can you compare it with other similar decisions made those time? Or
Дякую за питання, пане Норман.
Thank you for this question, Mr. Norman. So when I asked for the documents, I believed that I would get enough of them in order to prove my position. However, as I wrote in my statement, I asked for the documents in the beginning of the year. Why my request was considered in October, I don't know. And getting an apartment is like winning a lottery. It seemed very far-fetched to me. So I thought that I was lucky and that's it. And I wish I could prove the circumstances of this fact. And it happened like this. And as I took So I only learned about the decision when it was taken. And in the extracts from the protocols of the meetings, you can see that I was absent from the meetings, and my issue was not the first one on the agenda. I was, my issue was 23rd on the agenda.
І тому саме
And the mere fact of velocity, of speed of this decision taking really raises doubts. But this is what I have, this is what happened, and I have no other documents to somehow explain that and justify it. And regarding the veracity of my explanations, I would like to emphasize that throughout my life, both professional and personal, I have not been accused of telling lies.
Thank you. Is that correct that you privatized this apartment end of 2012 or beginning of 2013?
Так, правда.
Yes, it's correct.
According to the file, at that time you already owned one apartment, almost 20 square meters in Chernihiv. Do you know, was this taken into account when the decision was made to give you an apartment in Kharkiv?
Так, це так.
Yes, it's correct. And I would like to explain. I provided these explanations. Indeed, according to the requirements of the law, one can privatize no more than 23 or a little bit more than 23 square meters, 13 square meters, 13.6 square meters, plus 10 square meters per every family member, since I was the only family member. About the apartment in Chernihiv city, that apartment is owned by me and my parents, and under such circumstances, it's considered that all the owners own the apartment in equal shares. And if I'm not mistaken, it will be 30 divided by 4. Therefore, it's 13 or 14 approximately square meters. Sorry, I don't recall the exact figure. So when the process of privatization was ongoing, the body making the decision on privatization took this into account. And indeed, the new apartment I privatized of the area 25 square meters. So there was the part I was entitled to privatize free of charge, and the other part I had to pay for it. So I submitted the documents confirming I did it. Since it was a one-room apartment, it was impossible to provide a part of the apartment to me, and in such cases, according to the law, it is offered that one pays for the rest, and the decision was made to allow me to privatize the whole of this apartment, and I think I answered the question.
Yes, thank you. We are quite under time pressure, so I really appreciate if you answer could be so concise as they can be. Did you sell this apartment later on, after privatization?
Yes, I sold this apartment, but I would like to underline that it didn't happen right after the privatization. I sold it in 2025. Why I did it? First, since 2013, I used that apartment when I was coming to Kharkiv city because my wife's parents live there. And for the family, it was a burden, and it was financially not useful because you have to pay for utilities in that apartment, but I was not using the apartment. So the decision to sell the apartment was taken much before 2022, but due to all of the events in our country, I had to postpone the selling of the apartment, and I finally did it much later. And from the moment of acquisition of this apartment till now, I've been working with the public authorities, and my experience of work with public authorities, if we calculate according to legal requirements, because sometimes you really need to understand whether it's a real experience, but the overall period is 26 years with the public authorities. So I think that I really exercised my right. At the same time, I bought a different piece of real estate, and it shows that the purpose was not enrichment. I just replaced one property with a different one, and the property I acquired through purchase was purchased in my mother's native region. Since my childhood, I spent time there, so I could understand my clear intentions. Thank you.
Thank you for this thorough answer. I'd like to move to another topic, to another apartment. On August 2017, you were provided with a service apartment, which an area of 33 square meters in Kryvyi Rih, and 2020 reconstruction was carried out in this service apartment. And after the reconstruction, the area of this apartment increased almost to 54 square meters. And the question is, do you know on the basis of which decision of the local self-government made, or was it allowed to reconstruct this service apartment? What was the need and the legal base to renovate this service apartment and to enlarge it?
Thank you for the question. First, about the decision, there was a decision of a local self-government body. All the decisions were in line with legal requirements, and I provided the documents to confirm my explanations. I provided them not once to the whole esteemed composition of the Commission. That's the first part. Secondly, about the need. I would like to draw your attention to the fact that my family consists of 3 people. It's me, my wife, and my daughter, who is currently 12 years old. About the anti-corruption legislation, I also have a minor son who is also my family member, according to the anti-corruption legislation. And in view of all of these circumstances, considering that my daughter lives with me and considering that it's a 2-room apartment, I made such a decision there are
більше 10 квадратів збільшено.
a bit more than 10 square meters of difference. And that additional area is only 10 square meters. According to the law, it is in line with all the construction norms and standards. It is an apartment on the first floor, so I divided one of the rooms, allowing for my daughter to live separately, since I, as a father, and she, as a young woman, have to live in separate spaces. And the part my wife and I shared was dedicated to wardrobe space, and it was an apartment. Actually, the esteemed foreign experts might not be aware of that, but in Ukraine we have the Khrushchevsky buildings. It's not a big building for those who require minimal conditions of living. It's an old building. It was built over 40 years ago, and in view of all the needs of my family for now and for the future, because back then my daughter was younger, now she is older and she needs her private space. So I made the decision that there was a need to change the area, and there was an expert analysis, because without it, it was impossible to get a permission for the construction. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for this answer. Yes, as we are under time pressures, I repeat, please be so concise as you can. And the next question is, who financed this reconstruction? The local government or the court?
Дякую за питання.
Thank you for the question. These works were financed by my family. We haven't got a penny from local authorities, and I want to emphasize that I moved into that apartment after 1.5 years or 2 years, because the repairs were made by myself, and most of the repairs I did with my own hands. And when I provided information about my work activities, I emphasized that only my professional activities were taken into account. But I also am specialized in construction. In 1998, I graduated from a construction lyceum, as it is called now, and I was specialized in construction. So that's my answer. Excuse me that it's not as concise as possible, but I try to be concise.
Thank you. And the last question about this apartment. Did you live in this apartment during these renovations made by you?
Ні. Я не проживав.
I didn't live there, and you can see it from my declaration, because I was using a different apartment. I'm sure I informed about it.
Let's go further. The next question is about your wife and wife's activity as a attorney. And we know that in 2021, there was one case where you claim against the Kharkiv heating networks. There was, I understood, some problem in your or flooding in your apartment, and the legal assistance was provided by your wife's law office. and the cost of legal assistance were claimed in the amount of 10,000 hryvnias, according to the court documentations. Did you pay those costs of this case to your wife law firm, or what was considered as the legal assistance in the worth of 10,000 hryvnias in this case? How was in the practical life? You paid the bills to your wife's law firm, or?
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for the question.
Надання об'єму юридичної допомоги.
As a confirmation of legal assistance, I provided the documents, the agreement, and the work acceptance certificate. As far as I remember,
Не пам'ятаю, чи мають докази отримання мною цих грошей, чи не мають. Однак хочу зазначити, що
I would like to indicate that the decision was not enforced up till now. And I'm just trying to recall.
Я сплачував своїй дружині.
Paid to my wife, but the law doesn't require me to declare it, and the sum was different. The court decreased the sum almost by 5, justifying its decision. And I would like to emphasize that up till now, the court decision was not enforced, in particular related to the legal assistance.
Thank you. But you can confirm that at least part of this 10,000 hryvnias you paid by yourself to your wife's law firm. Just a fact. It's not about the declarations of those. But did you pay? Okay. Yeah.
Так.
Yes.
Так.
Yes.
Yes. The next question is about your car. 2020, you bought a Skoda Superb 2008. At a price approximately $5,000, and according to the internet or different marketplaces, cars of this brand, model, and year, the market price was about $8,000. Can you explain why the price of your car was so low comparing to the similar cars in the marketplace?
Дякую за запитання.
Thank you for the question. To repeat my previous written explanations, I would like to inform that indeed it's a fact when people buy vehicles, they establish a price and try to reach the lowest price. And I explained first partially and then in a more extended format after some time. And to confirm my explanations, I also informed about my next steps. I took into account the model, the number of previous owners. There were 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken. And in general, the cars having the TCI engine produced from 2008 to 2012 had a defect, and this defect was impossible to identify right away. I had to use the vehicle for some time to notice it, and there was a significant risk. So I convinced that the price had to be decreased comparing to the one suggested first. And usually, cars are sold through intermediaries in Ukraine,
Ти економиш свій час, але не економиш
That's
свої
how
гроші.
you save your time, but not your money.
А в цьому випадку я купляв
In
автомобіль
that
безпосередньо
case, I
представника,
bought the car directly
скажімо так, там є компанія, але коли я
well, there was a
почав
company,
визначатися
there
з
were,
ціною,
but when I
вести
started
торг, купував
marketing,
пропозиції
I
від компанії, коли я прийшов, почав оглядати,
got a proposal from the company. After I viewed the car, I asked the owner to be present, and so
я переконав, що саме от
I was
тільки
trying
за
to
ціну
make the price
таку
lower
я
in the
можу
presence of the owner,
оскільки
and
тільки таку частину коштів я маю.
I only
Якщо
had
це не
that
подобається,
sum
але
of
угоду
money
укладати
to offer, so that what convinced the owner he could refuse. That's my explanation.
Thank you. And the next question is about the period when the war started, February, March 2022. And we know that you were absent from your position as a judge after the war, and you explained us during the written answers that certain period you were at sick leave, and after that you were mobilized. But can you clarify the sequence of the events? Can you remember when you were sick and when exactly you were mobilized and very physically in Kryvyi Rih all the time before you were mobilized?
Так, я можу пояснити дані події.
Yes, I can explain these events to answer your question. Excuse me if I make a mistake in the date by 1 or 2 days.
Ще
Indeed,
момент, наскільки я пам'ятаю, самих подій вторгнення.
when the invasion started, I was on sick leave.
У мене був ковід.
I had COVID-19, and to confirm this, I provided the medical documents. Moreover, it was prolonged for 1 day, and from the 26th to the 7th of March, I was in Kryvyi Rih, and I performed my work duties. And to confirm it, I sent the court rulings from the Unified State Register, which confirmed that the cases were considered. Then after that, I was on another sick leave due to trauma, and it was impossible for me to continue to perform my work duties, and it was a sick leave until, if I'm not mistaken, the 20th of March.
В той же день, в останній день,
on that last day of my sick leave, I made the decision to voluntarily join the army, and on the 21st, on the 20th, I made the decision, and the notice was issued to undergo the necessary procedures to get drafted to the army. Then, after analyzing the situation in the state, which was critical and threatened the security of my family, I made the decision to evacuate my family from Kryvyi Rih abroad, which I did on the night from 20th to 21st of March, if I remember correctly. And after that, I was drafted. Yes, there was a certain delay from the 21st till 28th,
всі свої дії я інформував
all
керівництво
of
суду.
my actions, I communicate all of my actions to the leadership of the court, and I provided the letters as a confirmation, as well as screenshots from messenger dialogues. Why did you do it now? Because there is a position of the Supreme Court
Аналогічні обставини були проаналізовані як доказ у справі.
which analyzed similar circumstances in a case, and it was established that message exchanges between public officials can confirm the actions in that period in view of the circumstances. So I disclosed this information and provided it to the members of the Commission. Thank you.
Thank you. My 40 minutes has passed very quickly. Thank you for your thorough answers. And I give the floor to Robert. Thank you for
Thank you, Norman, to be so on time. Questions now on the screen? No, thank you. Over to you, Madam Chair, for your 20 minutes.
Дякую.
Thank you.
Передаю слово
I'm passing the floor to Ruslan Bogdanovich, and let's respect the time limit. Okay, no more than 20 minutes.
Окей. Мій колега вас вже запитав чимало. У мене
My colleague has already asked quite some questions. I will have a few clarifying ones.
я би хотів почути
First of all, I would like to hear more detailed explanations about the phrase you said during the meeting with the Ethics Council when you were competing for membership in the High Council of Justice. You said a phrase, I will try to quote it, that you always pay alimonies, and then you gave an assessment to this, and you said, I quote, it's a nature of Ukrainian women, they often try to get alimonies for themselves. I have a question. What did you mean by that phrase? Because it contradicts the legal nature of alimonies. It's not for a woman, but for a child. And secondly, what did you mean by the nature of Ukrainian woman in that case? Thank you for this question. A very subtle one. Excuse me in advance. I didn't want to offend any woman, by no means. I think they have equal rights with men. According to legal requirements, men are obliged to pay for their children, and alimonies are paid in Ukraine. Could you please answer concisely, because we have 20 minutes only? It's clear. Maybe my expression was incorrect, but please I meant not for me personally, but for a child. And just 10 more seconds, the decision of payment to pay the alimony was in the court ruling, and that's my answer. Thank you. Yes, and now let's try and clarify everything with the mobilization, because you were on sick leave, and please be brief. So the full-scale invasion started on the 24th. Yes, excuse me. On the 24th. When did you get sick? It's important to clarify all the dates, the sequence of events. It was right just before the start of the invasion. let's just clarify the dates. It's important. So on the 21st of February, your sick leave started. And what was the end date of sick leave? Till 24th, and the sick leave was prolonged because of high temperature, because of fever. Then what happened? I resumed my work on the 26th till the 7th of March. All right. Next, on the 8th March, from the 8th March till the 20th of March, I was on another sick leave. Okay, and here is my question. According to your explanations, you came to the military enlistment office on the 20th of March. Where did you get the sick leave? In Kryvyi Rih? And how did you appear to be in Verkhovynsky district military enlistment office on 20th? I can be mistaken from the point of view of distance, but the distance is quite significant from Kryvyi Rih city to Verkhovynsky office. Yes, it takes 12 hours by car. Okay, so let's describe the events. So you're on sick leave, which was issued in Kryvyi Rih. What happens next? Your health improved and you went to Verkhovina, or what was happening? Because we cannot understand it from your explanations. Excuse me, but last time I explained everything in details, and I mentioned that the decision was made in March. On the 9th, 10th or 11th, I left. So the sick leave was not corresponding to the reality. Why? My wife also uses the transport. We help each other when there is COVID, etc. All right, let's describe the sequence of events. Yes, I agree. On the 9th or 10th, I left. My wife brought me. First, since there was no fuel in the country, we couldn't reach that point very quickly, and it took us not 12 hours, but around 4 days with breaks. Secondly, for that time, I was in that region because my mother was from that region, and I was recovering there. There was a trauma, and as it is mentioned, and gradually I was recovering, and my wife was taking care of me, no one else. No questions, it was just unclear from your previous explanations. On the 9th, 10th, you left Kryvyi Rih city to get recovered in Verkhovina or to evacuate the wife, as you said, right? There were two reasons. First, security of my country, and the armed forces of Russian Federation were approaching Kryvyi Rih very quickly. Okay, we know all the events, no need to clarify. So the security situation, I decided to evacuate, and the wife agreed that she would drive the car. Great. Next, and over 4 days, we reached Verkhovina settlement, and you spent all that time there. Yes.
Десь цей період ще дружину супроводили до кордону, якщо мені не зраджує пам'ять.
З 20 по 21 березня, в останній
Then
день.
your health condition improved? Yes, on the last day of my sick leave, I accompanied my wife. On the 12th of March at 7 a.m., I came to the military enlistment office. I announced my willingness. I got all the documents. Why that specific enlistment office, but not other one? You had to recover. and you had to accompany your wife and then reach another military enlistment office according to your place of residence. But you didn't do that. You came to Verkhovensky military enlistment office. I will explain. Back then, all the passes to Kryvyi Rih were blocked and the roads were bombed. I realized all the situation. There was a risk to fail and to nothing, so I decided to go to the nearest military enlistment office. I knew the location of it. That's how I made the decision. You mentioned the military experience several times. Can you specify what's your specialization? What was your specialization at the moment of coming to the military enlistment office? A sergeant of border guard, and you were mobilized. Yes, I was the main sergeant of patrol brigade, and all right, your specialization was changed based on your document. The specialization is different. Yes, excuse me for interrupting you. Please give me 10 seconds to answer the question. The specialization didn't change instantly because I had to undergo training that I did only 1 year after. I'm just clarifying the circumstances, excuse me. After that, you were mobilized to Ivano-Frankivsk, a department of the military service. You said that you underwent training. Was it in the 25th training center in Lviv city? 25th, yes. And after that, you went to Ivano-Frankivsk for your service. Yes, but I want to underline that it was not the permanent dislocation because not all the trips can be reflected. Your period of the trip was 3 months, 4 months, excuse me, March, 4 months. It's the necessary period. No, 2 months were enough. Back then, when I was ensuring my military service, all right. Next, there were circumstances that allowed you to get demobilized to leave the military service, right? Were these circumstances related to your family members? To my mother, she has a disability of second group. I didn't ask you to give these details. The question was very simple. It was related to your family members. Yes, I could see the copy of the order. Do not disclose medical information. It's according to your interests. We saw all of this information. Later, you started performing your duties. Yes. Okay, clear with that. Another question about the apartment. You indicated when you were working, you indicated in your explanations to the Ethics Council that you were not specifying the position when you applied to get the apartment. Isn't it obligatory to indicate the place of work? I explained today that it's not obligatory to indicate where you work, but
пояснив, що я згадував.
provided the labor documents confirming the places I worked at, and I informed about it. All right.
Розібралися з рекомендаційними листами?
And was everything clear with the recommendation letters, and what was the reason? The reason was that the charges were identical. There were no charges. It was just recommendation.
Пояснювали на своїй позиції настою,
I
з змісту
explained and I insist that
на той час
it
у мене
was
цього не виникло.
the same
Як він завівся,
author,
мені невідомо,
and I had no
у тих осіб, які його підписували, і отже вважаються
doubts.
авторами.
And the persons who signed it are considered authors, and there were recommendations provided by me to them, and I insist. Clear?
Ще останнє таке запитання. Ви вже частково відповідали на нього, зокрема, одне з перших, які вам поставив мій колега. У вас доволі різні пріоритети. Вища рада правосуддя, апеляційний суд, зараз ВАКС. Ви в своїх поясненнях сьогодні сказали, що основне для вас це кримінальний
Have very different motivations. You said that you would like to prioritize criminal justice, even though you apply to different competitions. Well, let's take criminal justice. Recently, the Constitutional Court issued a decision regarding the extension of the
Це важливе рішення, оскільки під час дії воєнного стану у нас є особливості.
war time regime.
Дослівно не пам'ятаю, наскільки я пам'ятаю, там стосувалося
The martial law. So I don't really remember that decision. It was about participation of parties and taking procedural decision under martial law regarding unilateral character of cases. Thank you. I finished. Any other questions? Because you had a very active civil position, I would like to ask you, because I didn't really understand that, where were you mobilized? How long did you serve in the hostilities area? 4 months, since March until late July. And where was it in terms of territory without any references? Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, and there is no secrecy about it. Donetsk Oblast, Pokrovsk. Thank you. Colleagues, let us respect the rules of procedure and maybe some brief questions. I'm Oleksiy Ivanovych. When did that case unfold when your wife represented you? When I worked at the Saksahan court. When was it, year and month? I didn't remember these dates. It was before the full-scale invasion. I did not memorize them. I don't remember. So it happened before the full-scale invasion. 2021, 2020, 2019 could be somewhere around those dates. I don't have the exact date. So look, you have already provided the answer. You continue talking regardless of everything. And I'm nervous. Nothing to be worried about. It's not your first time in an interview.
Скажіть, будь ласка, я
Oleksiy Chumok. So as I listened to you, I didn't really understand what was the exception. Why was it
Це
made?
була не службова квартира, і я пояснив, що
It
я не знаю,
wasn't
який був
an
виняв.
apartment,
Я ж пояснив, я не знаю.
work apartment.
Процес
But you know that that was an exception. It was, I learned about it in 2026 after I got the decision. Before, I didn't know about that, and that is proved by the documents. So before you believe that it was the way it should have been, well, because I applied
особливих здивувань, так, якісь, може, сумніви були.
in the beginning of the year and my request was considered in October, I didn't take it as something easy and simple. So I just was glad.
Тобі одноособово. Я був один.
And I wanted to have this apartment for myself. And was it done just like for any other regular Ukrainian citizen? Yes. And why did you have doubts? Because somehow I managed to get it in 1 year, but this is not a lottery. Then it is a waiting
Я не
list.
відслідковував цього питання абсолютно.
I didn't monitor this issue at all.
Думаю, реалізується.
So
Добре,
I
реалізується.
submitted my application,
Це
and that's
якісь там
it.
очікування,
And I just
якісь з приводу цього.
waited for the answer, and I didn't take any other
Ну,
steps.
сказати, що
So
це
it
випадок,
all
не можу
happened
сказати, але
randomly. I cannot say that it happened randomly, but
Я не
you are mentioning an exception. So why was it an exception? So I explained it to the best of my ability. So I really did not take interest in this until 2026. Colleagues, if you have no more questions, then you have 1 minute in order to state whatever you would like to state that you haven't mentioned yet. Thank you for your attention to my candidacy. Thank you for this experience. And thank you for being respectful when holding this interview. I hope to be able to defend society at the highest level from corruption, or stay at my level and continue performing my duties with high quality and appropriately. I believe that my service to the people and the state will be assessed appropriately, and I believe, I'm confident that I can uphold the trust of the Ukrainian society to this country. Thank you for your participation in the competition. May I leave? Thank you. Goodbye.
Засідання оголошується перерва.